Thanks for all of you coming out. Thanks to Eric for letting us speak. Do I need this mic? I feel like that has a lot of like echo.
No, you're good. Use the mic.
Yeah, I don't need it.
No, use the mic. Use the mic.
Okay. Maybe I can lower it. La 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 la. This is amazing because like Jason Jimenez is here too. So hey, Jason.
Yo.
Just giving a shout out.
Vibes, yo.
So yeah, everybody who's reading tonight has a book for sale. They're all there. So come and
6 books. I mean,
6 readers, 6 books. They're all there, all available. Priced to move, attractively priced. If you take 5 of them home, then this could be your 6th one. So buy the other ones first.
This pamphlet about 5 war stories.
So I'm going to read from this short story called A Little Vacation. And I'm just going to read a little bit at the beginning, and then maybe I'll move toward the end. A Little Vacation. It snowed all night, and the year was up, more than up. His parents kept arguing. He hadn't slept, and now he couldn't get out of bed. A snow day meant no school. That was what he hoped for, lying perfectly still under a burrow of homemade quilts. When Eleanor entered the room, he held his breath, straining to perceive the sound of snow falling. But all he could hear was the white noise of blood thrumming past his eardrums. As he stirred, he recalled a half-remembered dream, a fantasy world of imaginary battles in white, a battery of snow forts, snowballs packed in high pyramids, snowmen and snow angels, and Topper, his beloved Irish setter, tracking mysterious new traces in the snow. The milk house's cinder block bones complained in the wind. In the past, whenever his parents had gotten into any protracted sort of disagreement, his maternal grandparents swooped in like Batman and Robin, as if the arguing itself, like the bat signal, had summoned them. But such visits, always an unexpected source of diversion, accompanied by a pocketful of hard peppermint candy and dinner in one of the fancy hotels downtown, stopped now that his grandfather had retired. He and Mama Hen left the Michigan Mitt to settle in Florida, a strange and exotic sounding place called Largo. So we'll move a little bit. Where are we going? Richard asked. His mother stooped to button up his pea coat. Florida, Chip pronounced. The word entered the frigid air, sounding fragile and exotic, like a winter bird bound upward in erratic flight. It connoted tropical weather, beaches and sunshine, things that were difficult to visualize as Richard walked out of the milk house, bundled up. All he knew of the place fit on the front of a postcard that arrived 3 months before. Daytona Beach at sunset, each wave cut out of amber, surrounded by preposterous amounts of white sand. Chip's pronouncement hung in the air like the musk of a wild tropical flower, and it began to make each one of them sweat and itch a little bit in feverish anticipation. This was even more of a break from routine than Richard had hoped. Stepping outside, Richard was Rocky Jones, Space Ranger, facing harsh elements, tucking chin into top of jacket, eyes closed as he bravely marched into the unknown. Snow crunched beneath his shoes like tiny moon rocks. He was embarking on another adventure. The screen door flapped shut in a gust of wind, a blast so frigid it made his eyes water, numbed his cheeks, froze the mucus in his nostrils. Just like that, he forgot about Florida. A taxi pulled to the curb. Eleanor rushed back in to pull a stem of overripe bananas from the pantry. She returned, walked toward the car, breaking one off for each of them. Put it inside your pocket, she told them. For later, Chip. No. Chip was already eating his. He cast the pill into the driveway. Normally, his mother would have made him go back to pick it up, but this was not a normal day. The cab idled against a bank of blackened snow, walkway covered with freshly fallen powder. It continued falling in swirls and eddies as Richard inched toward it. The cabbie popped the trunk, made no effort to leave its warm confines. Eleanor struggled with the luggage while Richard and his brother and sister climbed in the back, fighting about who would ride hump. Rachel finally took it, but made sure to extract retribution by coughing on each of them. "Mom!" "Cut it out, Rach." A few lonely people huddled on the oak benches spanning the interior of the station. Eleanor filed past with her children, greeted by quizzical looks on their way to the ticket counter. They must have made a surreal sight. Woman and husband, 3 small children walking single file like goslings at her rear, each one dragging an oversized suitcase. "Where are you going, ma'am?" She told him, and the ticket agent grinned at Richard while he looked up the information, mustache bristling when he scratched his chin. "That train is already boarding on track 2. The agent waved at Richard when he trailed behind the rest, looking back to make sure they hadn't left anything at the counter. For Richard, Florida could just easily have been a distant planet on the far side of the Milky Way, and getting there nearly as arduous. Once seated in the last car, Eleanor looked at her wristwatch. Chip took hold of Rachel's banana and she slugged him in the chest. Richard pretended his was a laser gun. He shouted, "Kablooey! Kablooey!" as he drew a bead on the passing porter, smashing blunt and blackened stem against the fogged window. When the train began to lurch, Eleanor sighed. While she should have known better than to have expected Lavelle to be on time, she still couldn't help but feel disappointed. That man, she thought, couldn't help but think, will be late to his own funeral. Then, as if on cue, Lavelle appeared in the doorway, looking peaked. He'd almost missed them, but he made it. Rachel was the first to spot him, screaming, "Daddy!" as she ran off to greet him. Richard and Chip soon followed. Eleanor leaned into the aisle. Looking at the father of her children, she felt removed from them all, in no particular rush to join them. He looked tired, eyes puffy. Gray shirt tails hung over his widening paunch, touching the floor of the car as he bent down to help Rachel peel her banana. Playfully pinching her ruddy cheeks, and she his. When Lavelle looked up, he and Eleanor locked on each other's gaze. It was only a moment, though it may have felt like an eternity. Lavelle had a kind and simple face, one that seemed to belie a mind untroubled and uncluttered. She'd always envied him for that. She never knew what he was thinking, whether any thought at all took place behind those ice blue eyes, placid as the surface of an unperturbed lake. She looked him up and down, as if she were still appraising him, as if she might at any moment change her mind. She couldn't help but feel the old pull of what had drawn them together in the first place. She gazed on fondly, felt she still loved him, suspected he loved her. He did, as good as he could. That was the problem. Thank you.